Daseni bra bedi del. Onyamia yenya onyeda.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Film Buds podcast. This is episode number 125.
Wow.
And my name is Henry.
I'm Chloe.
And we're coming at you with another remote edition.
Coming at you.
Coming at you. Another
That's
quarantine.
Like the least Film Buds energy of anything we've ever said.
Quarantine edition.
Ring that bell.
Yeah. First off, we hope everyone out there is staying safe and healthy, if at all possible. Chloe.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. How are you?
I'm okay, Henry. How are you?
Not too bad.
That's good.
And this time around, we have a review of
Extract, the Jason Bateman, Mila Kunis, like 2009 movie.
Yeah.
Was Mila Kunis in that, or did I make that up?
I don't know.
I know Jason Bateman's in it.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, everyone knows what I'm talking about, since it's the most famous movie of all time.
I'm sure. We have a review of the new Chris Hemsworth action film on Netflix, Extraction.
Did I watch the wrong movie?
Huh?
I said, did I watch the wrong movie? It's a little joke, Henry, a little quip.
Oh, whew. All right.
Hilarious.
Sorry about that. Which is also produced by the Russo brothers who did the Avengers Endgame and Infinity War. Then we have a retro review of another Netflix film, Beasts of No Nation, from 2015 by Cary Fukunaga.
Strapping for that one.
Yeah, of True Detective fame. And then we have maybe a little bit of news, some of the delays or cancellations that have happened recently, like Comic-Con. Yeah, Comic-Con.
Oh, that's sad, that one, Comic-Con.
Yeah, and then I guess the Mission Impossible films have been pushed back as well. So a few things there. And then we also, similar to what we did on the Hateful Eight episode where we had listener quarantine entertainment stories, we have something similar to that where we had a Facebook post and a lot of people contributed. And so we just have a big list of titles, not so much story structured, but just cool things people have been watching. So we'll get to that. And make sure to email us at thefilmbudspodcast@gmail.com if you haven't already.
Just with anything, whatever you want.
Yeah, anything you want.
Tell us your favorite color.
Yeah.
How's it going? If you need help with your homework, depending on the topic, we could maybe do that.
Yeah.
Don't ask me about math.
Right.
Henry, can I ask you about math?
I can. Yeah, sure.
Really? You're good at math?
I got A's in math, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then other stuff we watched, all the usual stuff. So thanks so much again for joining us. Chloe, it's great to see you.
You too, Henry. It's getting a little weird.
Yeah. How you doing?
Not you, but this. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything going on? I'm not too bad.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm doing stuff. I can't quite tell you what I'm doing, so that's a sign.
Confidential?
No, I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
So confidential, even I don't know.
Wow.
No, sending out little, cards and things of that nature and trying to do work in whatever capacity.
Yes.
I'm so lucky to be able to do things that I enjoy, so
yeah.
Can't take that for... Like talking to you, Henry.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, I feel very fortunate.
I do.
Yeah. And then also a few in-house things to talk about. We talked about it or mentioned it on the last couple episodes, but officially now the Film Buds store, merchandise store, which is at thefilmbuds.com, all products go to support COVID-19 charities. So that's not just a shirt or anything. It's everything. Everything you see there. It goes directly to charities. So please
The money does. The shirts or whatever go to you.
Yes. We should specify, or clarify.
The virus doesn't like our merch. It said it doesn't want any. It kind of hurt our feelings. We were trying to reach an olive branch. It wasn't having it.
Yeah.
So we'll work on that.
So if you can, buy something just to help support those charities. We'd really appreciate it. And I feel like there's something else going on.
YouTube video, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
God.
So if you haven't seen already,
My white whale, that's video.
our Film Buds video podcast, which is now on our...
The first one we ever did, Henry.
It was, yes.
It's just coming out now because, I'm bad at technology. Took a lot of time to get that to work.
Yeah, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and check out our YouTube page at the Film Buds podcast. But we did, like we just said, released our, I guess, third official video.
Hi, Nancy.
Yeah.
Say hi to the people who commented.
Yeah. Third official video, edited by Chloe. Chloe, it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Henry.
And I think a lot of people are enjoying it. I've gotten some good feedback from it.
Wow.
Yeah. So well done there.
I might need to up my game from iMovie. It's becoming quite irritating.
Well, people seem to like it the way it is.
Well, that makes people. I'm not people.
There you go.
I'm a person.
Yeah. Check that out if you need a few laughs.
Yeah. Something like that.
Other than that, Chloe,
what's new with you, Henry? You're almost done with school.
I am almost done.
Now, you're doing summer classes.
I have about a week left of this semester, and then I have a few online classes that I'll be taking. So that'll be cool.
Mostly math-based?
All business-based.
That's math.
Well, yeah, a little bit.
I was trying to be funny, but I'm just so smart. Business,
and
that's good. Henry, we can do some stuff.
Yeah.
I'm no help with business. Except one time at my... I was in a synagogue youth group for about a month. Mm-hmm. It was a busy month, though. We went to Washington, and it was very strange. But before that, there was to raise money actually for that trip. Again, very narrow window of time I was involved in this. Because a lot of my best friends were in youth groups. Like Cary and her youth group was like so cool, and they always did. They dug up potatoes and stuff, sweet potatoes and stuff like that, which doesn't sound as good as it is. But anyway, for a good cause and that kind of thing. So anyway, I was like, I want a youth group. What the heck is this about? So my mom, as always, tirelessly, my Pamela, perfect person, found me, whatever. I said, okay, great. So I went in and I was like, oh, all these people know each other for their whole lives. This is, okay, not quite, but okay, great. So then I was in it and I was like, So mostly I was bored, right? And so, but the first time I went in there was to raise money for the trip that eventually I went on, which I'm still very surprised I did. Actually, that makes no sense that's shocking. But anyway, I'm really surprised now that I think about it. But anyway, it was only a weekend, but it felt like a month. But anyway, okay, so to raise money, there was like a bake sale. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to come off really bad in this story, by the way, as if that's not per usual. But, so there's a big sale, but they only made chocolate chip cookies. Like, that's the only kind of cookies they made for the bake sale. It's the only thing there. And I said, okay, well, So we had like a lot of time. Basically, we went out to set up in the little courtyard before, I don't know. I'm telling this story is not so good. So we had a little bit to set up before people came out. And it was just like this big pile of cookies. And I was like, I don't think this is going to sell that well. Mm-hmm. So I put them on 3 separate plates. And I said one was chocolate chip, double chocolate chip, and triple chocolate chip cookies. And then everyone was like, like the kids or whatever, like, I don't know which one to get, like that kind of thing. And they're like, oh, just get one of each. And I was like,
hey,
my plan worked pretty well, but I'm not proud of
Well done. A true,
kids,
yeah.
So who needs a summer business class when you can lie about how many chocolate chips are in a cookie?
Yeah.
That's That's somehow one of my proudest and least proud moments of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. Have I ever told you about Merrick?
It doesn't come to mind immediately, but it's possible.
Oh my god, I made a documentary about him once. I've probably told you. He's my sworn enemy, but also, bar company. My favorite person, basically.
Okay. Sure.
Yes, Merrick. He has a very interesting life. I won't talk about him too much because he'll find out somehow, and his family's involved in the Guatemalan government, so I don't want to get too, yes, I know. So, anyway, but in elementary school, so we were like sworn enemies. We were like the two best in like art class and stuff, like all through school. But we had a very strange relationship because, again, I made a documentary about him, so I was clearly kind of obsessed with him, right?
Sure.
In a fine way, it's he's better than any TV show character you've ever seen.
Oh wow.
Yes. But anyway, so he also loves movies.
Okay.
I miss Merrick. Oh my gosh, his favorite movies like Fight Club. Like Merrick was the dude. Okay, so I actually really miss him. Okay, so anyway, I know, what the heck. I always tell him happy birthday on his birthday. But he's off
That's
being a
kind of
real
you.
person. I still have a thing I forced him to draw for me downstairs because it's beautiful. But anyway, so he knows I'm, obsessed with him.
Sure.
Anyway, but in sixth grade, wait, this story's gonna sound really sad. I'm in a mood today, Henry. I'm sorry. Basically, you made me rewatch. You didn't make me. I nominated to rewatch Beast of No Nation, and it put me in a headspace. Put me in quite a headspace, as you can imagine.
Sure.
So sixth grade. This actually sounds really bad. Merrick and my mutual friend Ben, his house got hit by lightning.
Ooh. And
burned down.
Oh man.
And so there was a fundraise. Oh no. Was that one for Ben? There were a couple kids whose houses were on fire at the... I'm not kidding, at that time. And they kind of... Shoot. Okay, actually, I think it was a different house. I think it was a house in my dad's neighborhood. But anyway, So the house burned down. And so we were raising money. The art teacher, she was dope, raising money for them by selling, like, lollipops. But, Henry, this was a big deal because, obviously, under normal circumstances, you can't have lollipops like in school. Like, can't have candy like in class. Like, you can't, you know what I mean?
Okay.
They don't let you go to the bathroom, for God's sake. They barely let you drink water, you know what I mean?
Right.
Much less a lollipop in class. But so these were obviously, for charity lollipops, so you could lick them, you could eat them, right? It sounds weird. How do you say a lollipop? Do you eat a lollipop?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, you lick it, but eventually you eat it, yes.
I guess. I feel like it just gets absorbed into your... I feel like that's this weird other... Whatever.
Depends if you're a biter.
I'm not a biter. I'm also not a licker. I can't deal with lollipops. We all know I'm not very patient. It's not for me. Anyway.
Well, I'm as we've talked about before, I'm more of a gum guy than a lollipop guy.
Do you chew your lollipops, though?
In the very rare, not immediately. Like, no. I'm not like, but
yeah.
Maybe at the last little bit, like if it's a Tootsie Roll Pop, sure.
Well,
but,
Henry.
Well, yes.
Henry, duh. It doesn't count. The Tootsie Roll part of the lollipop is not in question here.
Then
you can't do anything but
if
chew it.
If it's just a hard part, no, I do not chew.
Yeah, okay.
But it's very rare that I have one.
Yeah, I don't even mess with lollipops. Never. I mean, aside from them being sugar and everything, it's just the notion is not for me. But everything else, like a mint or whatever, or even cough drops, they're in my mouth for a quarter of a second before they're chomped. Yeah, that's bad. So that's also why I avoid them. But
right, where were we?
Yes. So they were like very pretty. They're like the lollipops. Probably everyone kind of knows. Like it was clear wrapping, and they were all different. Like they were big orbs, but they were all different. So, like the top half was like pastel pink, then a little bit of white in the middle, and it's like if saltwater taffies were lollipops. You know the kind I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, those are good.
Yeah, I mean I didn't buy any because I don't need lollipops, but yes. I was too busy selling cookies. So Anyway, Merrick bought up. Okay, let me just say, his family has it's not his nuclear family, but in his family, they have like the monopoly on beer in Guatemala.
Okay.
And I've only now just made this connection. So kids were like, this was like half a week in, and of course, talk of the town, Henry. If there wasn't a lollipop in your mouth, what were you doing? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So Merrick bought all the lollipops.
Monopoly.
All of them. Yes, and then he sold them he price gouged them. He sold them he would only sell a certain amount a day. And he sold them for more than initially.
Wow.
And he ended up having to give all the money to the cause. At least all the money he profited. I think he still just bought the lollipops. But maybe not. I don't know. This was 6th grade, so that was a little bit ago. Oh my god, that was half my life ago, actually. So I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But in any case, I just realized that that's very similar to the cookie thing, except now I don't seem so much of a psychopath because Merrick takes the cake.
Right.
Takes the dessert.
Yeah. Cool.
Was that a good story? Cut it out. We'll edit that out.
No, I'll leave it in.
What even made me think about that?
I have no idea.
That's weird.
A couple. Before
business, because I'm good at business.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
A couple quick things. Make sure to check out. We do have 2 other podcasts: the Music Buds, as well as You Don't Need Anyone, which are both artist and art review shows. We've had a big spike in Music Buds episodes, so thank you for that. That's been cool to see. And also,
we should do another one.
Yeah, and I guess we won't officially announce it on the show just yet until it's been done, but we do have a cool little promotional thing coming up that was discovered or made known to us yesterday. That could be a cool little thing to put on social media just as a cool
little thing.
Yeah, as a little publicity, if you will.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, and if you want to publicize us, you feel free.
Yes,
everybody.
Actually, well, speaking
Thanks.
of, some random person
on a future friend. What is it, that thing
Possibly.
about like all strangers are just friends you haven't met yet or something?
Perhaps.
I mean, don't trust that advice, everybody.
A woman on Twitter invited the Film Buds podcast Twitter profile, as well as a random group of other people, or excuse me, future friends, to upcoming COVID-19 meet and greet remote video party. I have no idea who this person is.
I didn't get invited. I don't go on Twitter anymore.
Yeah, it was just Film Buds.
I had to cut myself off again.
I don't know if this person is a bot. But
you mean like all the buddies, or just us, or you?
Us.
Oh, a
the
bot. Who are the other people?
I have no idea.
You didn't look?
I mean, they're not followers of us at all.
But are they like other podcasts?
No.
Oh.
They're like I don't know. It's very strange.
They're actors?
A couple of them were. Nobody really known.
Well,
but
that kind of makes... You never know. You know what? You should go. It's a lot safer than going to a real party. Just don't give anyone your credit card number. And go ahead.
Cool.
You should go, Henry.
Maybe.
I mean, it's not even go, because, you should log in. You should,
Yeah.
That'd be funny. Henry, now you have to.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep... I have no idea.
Say? What'd the invite say?
I'll find it and read it. I don't have it on me right now. But
okay.
I'll keep you updated on that one, everybody. So... All right, well, maybe we should just go ahead and jump in. I think we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into our first review, which is Extraction, which is now streaming on Netflix. And we do have a clip, so take a listen.
What were you going to ask me?
If you were always this way, brave.
I'm not brave, man.
Of course you are. You rescue people.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I do other things.
Like killing people.
Yeah.
My father, he kills people too. Sometimes I would sit with him at dinner, look at him and think, he just killed somebody else's father that day. And I'd feel sick.
All right. Extraction, as we said, is now on Netflix, and it's directed by Sam Hargrave.
First time director.
Yeah, who was a stuntman, I think, on Atomic Blonde and maybe some of the John Wick movies, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here.
No.
He was a stunt coordinator on the Avengers films, Deadpool 2, Atomic Blonde, Suicide Squad, Hunger Games. So a lot of big things. And it's also written by Joe Russo, who's one of the Russo brothers who did the...
Oh, I thought they did together.
They produced it together, but
okay.
Just one of them wrote it. And it stars Chris Hemsworth. Sorry about this name pronunciation.
It's going to be really bad.
Rakesh Jaiswal. And that's about it. There's not really any...
No, they're all... No. This is get ready, everyone. It's Chloe's Soapbox Hour. Basically, everyone in it apparently is famous.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll read the first... Let's see. The first or the latter...
Even the drug lord dad is famous. He was in one scene. Yes.
All right, so also Shivam Vishari, Payesh Kadi, Randeep Huda, Pankaj.
Maybe just spell them.
That would take a long time. Tripathi, and
that's a cool name.
Adam Besa. So that's Oh, and I guess
that.
the actress was Golshifta Farhani. Oh, and David Harbour, right?
Oh yeah.
Well,
in the pivotal role.
Yeah. Well, Chloe, you were looking forward to this one, right? This was on your radar.
Oh yeah, I had heard about it before you texted it to me.
Yes.
I've been keeping an eye.
Yeah. Well, and the synopsis, excuse me. Sorry. Just out of works here.
It's because we didn't realize it had a plot.
Yeah, out of sorts here, everybody. Excuse me. Tyler Rake, a fearless black market mercenary.
His name is Rake?
His last name, yeah.
He kills someone with a rake at one point.
He does.
That tells you all you need to know about the movie.
Yeah. A fearless black market mercenary embarks on the most deadly extraction of his career when he's enlisted to rescue the kidnapped son of an imprisoned international crime lord. Well, Chloe...
He's actually not international. That's like the whole thing. Isn't he like the biggest drug lord in India? And the other one is the Bangladeshi drug lord?
I'm not too sure, sadly.
Yeah.
Those details were lost on me.
Yeah. Also, did you know this was based on a graphic... Actually, basically, if I say this shows you... Yeah, let me preface it with this, if you don't mind.
Please.
Did you know this was based on a graphic novel they did?
I didn't.
But the boy was in... Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
That was horrible. Oh, I felt that. Oh, no. Are they still in there?
My teeth are good. Sorry, I'm
have
drinking...
such nice teeth. That would have been a shame.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You could have been like Ed Helms. They took out his fake tooth for the hangover.
Yeah. Sorry, I was drinking from a mason jar and I hit it right up against my teeth. Anyhow.
Shoot.
Continue.
Yeah? Okay. Okay, sorry. So,
sorry about that scare, everybody.
I laugh when I'm nervous. Okay. So it was based on a graphic novel, but it was, in the graphic novel, it was set in Mexico about the Mexican drug war. and it was like a damsel in distress, not the little boy.
Okay.
And I think the fact that they think Mexico and India and Bangladesh are interchangeable tells you most of what you need to know about the tone deafness of this entire work.
Sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, with that being said, what else did you think about it, Chloe?
Okay, so I knew nothing about it, literally nothing about it, except that Chris Hemsworth was in it, and I only knew that because of it had a big picture of him on it, obviously.
Yes.
And I did some research, and even for releases in other countries such as Bangladesh and India, he is still like the only person on the poster.
Right.
Even though, like I said, apparently the other actors in it are well known. So I didn't know anything about it going in, and I really, as Henry can attest to, I truly don't go into most things I don't want to dislike anything.
Yeah.
I just can't deny. I can't deny my feelings, Henry.
Yeah, it's okay.
And so pretty much from the start, I was like, oh, roll my eyes, right? Just because the beginning is super wait, is it? I've already forgot. Oh no, the beginning's the little boy. Is the boy. He's not even little. The beginning's the boy, right?
I've forgotten.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, anyway, that was very cliche and everything, and it's like this rich kid and blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. So that didn't do a lot of, they try to set the empathetic thing, and that didn't really do it for me, as you can imagine. And then the way they were talking about girls was like kind of gross, and I was like, this is so unnecessary. Like, even if you're trying to show like quote unquote boys, like this is ridiculous. Like the line they chose for the kid I know I sound super petty here, but I'm just going through in my head. But the line his friend says to him is like, oh yeah, she wants you. That's like the grossest thing you can say. Okay. Because she's not even like, it's not true, but also just be like, oh yeah, she totally likes you, man. Like that's way better, right? Because they're like 12. They're like 12.
Yeah.
You should be wanting anybody. I think, okay? If you do, we need to maybe talk, and I'll be understanding. But anyway, it's just so tone deaf. Like it's like the most broy, annoying, like hold me back is like the whole tone of writing for this movie. Like it's so bad. And then like Chris Hemsworth is, so I'm going to go in a little more detail, Henry, and then
Please.
I'll stop.
No,
I'll stop
Chloe,
after that.
that's why we're here.
Yeah.
To hear your thoughts.
Well, I won't go through the whole movie like this.
I'm more so just the moderator, so it's...
Yeah. Oh, Henry!
I'm just
Henry!
kidding.
Oh, now I feel terrible.
No, it's fine. I'm kidding. I like to joke with everybody.
The moderator for me, myself, and I. Yeah, I think the listeners are agreeing with you more than either of us would like. So
it's fine.
So anyway, I mean, the minute you started this movie, you probably saw this coming. To be fair, you said, "Oh, well, what have I done?" So anyway, so then the next thing. So Chris Hemsworth is introduced because he's like this stoic, like tattooed guy who's like lounging in on like a
cliffside, yes,
Australia,
with a death wish, just ready to bite it.
Well, something like that. Something probably less thought through than that, I think. But okay. So again, this is just to highlight the tone. And see if that ignorance is worth your entertainment in the choreography. Okay. Which I think is the only draw of the movie, is the, like, fight scenes or whatever, right?
I'd say so.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Henry. You're
wrong?
Right.
You're right. No, you're right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth was better than I thought, but that's just because he wasn't astonishing, though.
I thought he was fairly good in this. Yeah. Again, not a amazing performance, but I thought he carried it fairly well.
Yeah. but he had to because everyone else was two-dimensional, and
It's true.
you know, it's not that. Anyway, he's built on only tropes. So as you picture him on this little cliffside, whatever, his two buddies who they're only there for a slight plot point. Talking about him going into the water, which is, you know, whatever, happens to be a foreshadowing or whatever you want to say. They appear like, I'm pretty sure they're Aboriginal. And I'm pretty sure they're only there to be like, see, we care. Like, we know, like, they're Aboriginal people in Australia. These are his friends, right? But also it's tied with that thing of he's like an outsider and stuff, which is like, all right, okay. But also, now, Henry, let me tell you this, because this is brutal. And then I'll stop.
Please.
So, in an interview, and also I'm really irritated, and maybe I am too petty, or I don't think I am. I think other people don't pay it. But anyway, the interviews I saw or whatever were like, because I searched, wasn't Extraction White Savior, because you know that's like the thing, the White Savior issue in movies.
Yes.
Which actually, in a long roundtable I watched, Cary Fukunaga actually referenced, like, as a thing he wanted to make sure, or he said was a problem in Hollywood or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, and he's so well dressed all the time. So swoon. So anyway, back to this. So an interviewer, which is a terrible way of interviewing, said, I know people, myself included, had concerns about this movie having a white savior problem. But then I watched the movie and I felt better about it because he literally said, because you didn't change, the people's names to, white sounding names. And I was like, that is certainly not enough.
Yeah.
And then the director, or whatever his name, what's his name?
Sam.
Sam. Sam was like, I like that we're on that basis. Beard Man Sam, he has a big beard, was like, oh, yeah, I totally thought about this. Henry, you can't believe what I'm about to say. And that is why I had Chris keep his original accent, because you don't see a lot of Australian heroes. I said,
this is so true.
I said, what? He literally said, like, oh, he's white, but he's a white Australian. And I said,
man, they really, wow, they're blowing boundaries here.
Henry, I couldn't believe that. And look, I'm just very against identity politics, basically, right? Like, I don't think you should, you should not be allowed to cast a white person as the hero in a movie, right? Like, that's not what I'm saying. When you nominate to use a whole country, a whole culture, and the worst stereotypes about that country and that culture, just as like a video game background, that's bananas. That is bananas. And the kind of self importance that you think, or an Australian accent? Are you kidding me? And that's the annoying thing. Like, again, he was with two Aboriginal men for about 3 seconds, or apparently Aboriginal men for about 3 seconds, right? Like, they had Kiwi accent. I said, this is unbelievable. That moment, literally when I saw them, I said, okay, I don't have a great feeling about this. And then it got worse and worse and worse and worse. Because they really do use it just as like a, for goodness sake, why couldn't the kid's dad be like, I'm not saying you have to get, Modi involved or whatever, but I'm just saying he could have been like a political, revolutionary or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially since he didn't have a part, for God's sake. Ugh. So that pissed me off, obviously, just because of the lack of concern when they were filmmaking, first of all, right?
Right.
And then, that on top, and they go together, I think, usually. Like how I say the right thing and the best thing usually tend to align. Like, the good thing to do and the best thing. No, what do I? You know what like the most advantageous thing, the most successful thing tends to be also the good thing to do.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. You're not wrong.
Healthcare. Yeah. So you save tons of money, $40 million a year. Okay. So I think that number's wrong, but anyway, it's just like
our producers can check that one.
Yeah. But my cat. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like it makes sense to me that kind of just total disregard for people's cultures and plights and, you know, just total lack of awareness goes with bad writing, bad plot. I mean, no plot minus like super worn out tropes, like freaking, oh, okay, great, your whole okay, great. Like, I don't know if it even counts as spoilers, but it's so predictably stupid.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's just like, it really goes together as like, it's all the things I don't want. Which I love in a movie because then I don't have mixed feelings.
Sure.
And what a nice change.
Well, out of 5, Chloe.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't mind. I mean,
I didn't mean to talk too much.
No, Chloe, really, I mean, this is why I like doing this. I get to hear your thoughts on it. So
you talk about the technique. Did you pair this with Beast of No Nation because of the long scene in the middle?
No, I did more so because of the it's not the kind of somewhat paternal relationships in each.
Oh, I didn't even. Okay,
Yeah.
That's totally different one. Okay, I see.
Well, now, as everyone would expect, I had all that in my mind while I was watching it as well. I thought the movie was okay. I thought it was watchable. I agree with everything you said, especially in retrospect. The biggest issue with movies like this, these one-man army, like gung-ho, shoot-'em-up movies. Now, if you listen, you know I love shoot-'em-up movies. If it's done
you're
right,
no Clobo over there.
If it's done right, I'm there. I'm fine with just a bunch of shooting and explosions. I don't need a story. I can just enjoy it if it's well done. But the issue is recently with these is that they're all having to come after 3 John Wick movies, which I would say, aside from the first one, are the kind of crowning jewels of close quarters combat like this, and just, again, one man army movies, which those action sequences. Now, there are a few good ones in this, like the 12-minute long take or single take is pretty amazing just from a choreography perspective, but everything else is so below that it's almost impossible not to compare it to like John Wick 3 that just came out last year, and even Atomic Blonde as well. Mm-hmm. So this one
and the stupid ending. I mean, it's stupid.
The final shot of this movie is the absolute worst. The absolute worst. Truly.
It's on par with that show where it all is like in the, what's that show? It's the whole show. It's about a hospital. This was like before our time-ish, but my parents always talk about it. But it's like a show about a whole Saint Elsewhere, and the whole show is like in the kid's coma.
Oh, really?
Brain.
Wow.
It's like on par with that.
Yeah. So I was never, I don't know if I was ever truly bored, but I was
never interested, Henry. I'm not even it wasn't even because I was mad. I was like, oh God, like the sounds were monotonous to like poo, 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 just constantly for like 2 hours.
Yeah. The stunt choreography when it comes to that is all fairly good, but the issue with these stuntmen becoming directors, like the guy who worked on John Wick 1 has gone on to direct Atomic Blonde and that Hobbs and Shaw movie from last year.
Fast
But-
and Furious.
Yeah. But the issue with people, these stuntmen, is that they tend to focus entirely on the action and the choreography, which can work, but
Yeah.
like that's maybe a 90-minute limit that you could do for
Yeah.
a movie and have it be successful. But this is 2 hours at least.
True. That's quite true for Atomic Blonde as well.
Yeah. And
I
so-
mean, I really like that movie because that definitely has more texture and finesse and style to it. But the plot was a little,
Yeah. And that's very much an issue with this movie is the plot. When you're in the action, it can be fairly interesting and compelling, but immediately when you get to any quiet dialogue driven scene, it's an absolute bore.
brutal.
Like
It's not just a bore; it's so bad.
Yeah,
it's like
the-
cringe.
The David Harbour section, cut it out. It is
brutal.
it's so unnecessary. His character does nothing.
And it's so
except-
predictable as well.
Very.
So it's not even. This movie gives now. Correct me to me, zero payoff. Just ever.
Yeah.
Like ever.
Yeah, for the most part. And now, as I said, with these movies, you can put in a bunch of action and take out a story, and it can still be fairly good, but every story element that they try and put in terms of developing Chris Hemsworth does nothing at the end. You could cut out...
And it's lazy as crap.
Yeah, you could cut out the story about his son, the David Harbour stuff, and it would probably be a slightly better movie because, again, you're just there for no reason by the end in those development, quote-unquote, scenes.
And let me not even talk about the lady's character.
Yeah.
The heck?
Yeah, she does
The heck?
so little. Also, they
no
try and
motivation.
try and develop this character, the guy who works for the warlord first, you know?
Oh,
That-
boy.
it-
Yeah. John Travolta from Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, a little bit, honestly. Also, the main issue is that they try and create emotion between Chris Hemsworth and the boy, and the ending especially is not the final sequence, but the highway resolution is so unearned and is such a failure. You just don't care at all about that relationship, and you don't need to in this kind of movie. I think that maybe I don't know if that's a producer thing or what, but like just take that stuff out and it would probably be a better movie.
That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. They're so far up their own tushies. Like, I'm not trying to say that every movie needs to be Beast of No Nation. Like, I know I can come off the way sometimes, but like, no, like, there is certainly a place for like Marvel movies and the like, you know, but don't try to act.
Yeah.
Don't try to, you can't, I mean, just don't try to say what you're making is high art because you know, steal parts of recipes that actually mean things. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
It's so dismissive.
Yeah. And
It's so dismissive. The whole movie.
Yeah.
Ugh, so unaware.
Yeah, and the big scene where Chris Hemsworth is talking about his son, and I won't spoil it because, you know, you could not see this coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say, honestly, you don't need to say it, Henry, because if the listener guesses
Yeah.
about Chris Hemsworth history, guaranteed they'll be at least 90% right.
Yeah. And that monologue, I thought his performance was quite good in that. However, the situation in which it's presented is so inauthentic. Like the emotion, you can see
Show don't tell.
Yeah,
my
like
guy.
you can see his emotion there, and that's he did a good job with that, but just the way in which it's presented is so poorly done. And it just bogs the movie down in plot that you don't care about. However, that 12-minute, as I said, that 12-minute sequence is pretty amazing. Just in terms of thinking about if someone made what? Go ahead.
Much better? Is it that much better than the Atomic Blonde one or the one in Beasts of No Nation, which was one shot?
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's above that. I'm just saying for this movie, comparing it to everything else, it's pretty impressive just from a filmmaking standpoint. And if the whole movie had that kind of energy and that kind of ingenuity, it could have been fairly decent. But once everything before that and after that is pretty subpar in a 2-hour movie.
And just like nobody from there, quote unquote, is a good person, which is really irritating.
Right.
Because again, there's no gray. Like, I'm not saying I'm not big into identity politics, like I said, but that goes both ways. So nobody is just made up of one attribute, and that's what this movie says, and it's so thoughtless that it makes that which is involved totally disregarded in terms of reality.
Right.
Like, for example, again, I know we'll get to it, but Beast of No Nation, for other reasons, is not actually set anywhere. And it's just fictitious. They don't say it's in Sierra Leone. You know what I mean? And that, again, shows a level of thoughtfulness in filmmaking, which is just the contrast between these movies is so stark. And I know that they're made for different purposes, but like we're kind of saying, they think that they've made like a, meaningful blah blah blah. Don't get me started on the my least favorite, perhaps, treatment of a character was the boy who gets taken in, as it were, by the drug lord.
Oh, who has the payoff, quote unquote, at the end with Chris Hemsworth in terms of what happens.
Yeah.
Is that the one you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
this whole movie
brutal.
This whole movie takes place in like 3 days, right? Like it's
yeah.
There was something that really pointed to how tight it was. Like, it's a cut, but I can't remember now, but it was like a few days, and I said, okay. But it's so ridiculous that you're saying that a kid could be their personality can be totally 180'd in that amount of time, except less than that in like 24 hours. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
Is it just so stupid?
Yeah, and it is takes itself so seriously. If it had been pretty goofy, I could maybe get over a few of those things, but it's so grim and serious.
You threw a child off a roof.
Yeah.
Like, you threw a child off a roof.
Yeah.
Okay? So you can't just make an action movie, whatever, then have a freaking drug lord throw a kid off a roof.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And then say that, oh my God, and the whole thing of like, I disappoint you, I'm gonna cut my fingers off. It's like, it's been 24 hours. This is not how people's minds work. Oh my God, with no incentive either. Oh my God, so freaking stupid.
Yeah, and comparing it.
And then, of course, there was the needless, like, butt shots and stuff in like a strip club or whatever, which is just like, I don't, like I said, I'm just sick of like that. The clubs that we talked about this the other week. I'm just sick of like those stupid club setting nonsense.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
When talking about John Wick and Atomic Blonde as well, now those movies have a fair bit of plot and not all of it works, but they are so stylized that they can kind of get away with it. Like, I would happily watch the 2-hour, like 10, 20-minute John Wick 3 to get that incredible action, and I could suffer through a little bit of plot that's not really that interesting. And same thing and same thing with the Atomic Blonde. It's like it's stylized, so they have more of a excuse, I guess, to put that stuff in. But in this,
it's also not right here, right now.
Right.
In Atomic Blonde, because it does reference like historical fact.
Yeah, and then John Wick.
Big scale, and this one is like,
yeah, and then John Wick is its own world. Like, it's such a cartoony world, and that's very much established.
A man and his dog. That's all I know.
Yeah, but
that's literally all I know.
All the colors are so washed out. Everyone is so underwritten, and the direction. I mean, it's not great. Sorry, Sam.
It's brutal.
Yeah,
and also, yeah, even down to like, Chris Hemsworth is fighting John Travolta in the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now that movie I would like to see.
Yeah. And everyone is just like just the regular people who should be, who are going about their business prior to that exchange are just like gawking and like being like, oh, like as if like this type of activity is extremely typical in their everyday life, which is again like so dismissive of a culture and basing it on.
It reminded me a lot of kind of in the worst way of how the Sicario sequel dealt with that Mexico setting. It didn't really treat that country or those people with respect, even though
I didn't like it as much as the first one.
Exactly, yeah. Which this movie suffers in dealing with India. So,
yeah. And Bangladesh and somewhere else. Not that you would know. I had to redefine that out. Yeah. But that's another thing. It lumps all these countries together. Like if you didn't because I went and read that stuff, it's not clear in the movie at all. Mm-hmm. So if you didn't know that, it just blurs these like quote unquote foreign places together, and it's like, all right,
yeah,
cool. And yeah, the whole, not just the resolution as far as the two main characters, but also, like I said, the lady's end story there is like, how does that make any sense at all?
Yeah.
And it also like continually alludes to the idea that she's like in love with him with like nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. And to just bring it back up again briefly, the resolution on the highway, which is the kind of ending action sequence, if they had ended it there, I would have been like, okay, like not a very good movie. I can deal with it fine. But then that last shot just makes it feel so inauthentic and goofy, and again tries to evoke emotion for that relationship, which you don't care about. I don't think anyone aside from maybe the writer and director does. And maybe not even them.
Because initially they made it a lady.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that was bothering me when I was watching. I was like, how does he actually care about this kid and then is gonna like give him back to his drug lord father, like in the, like whatever, right? And it's just like, which again might have, they might have been aware of some of the loose ends as far as the emotional decisions based on emotion in the movie, which is why the ending became so crap, right? So, but you can't just put, a white t-shirt over the white wall where you punched a hole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Well said.
I've tried it. It doesn't work.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, and also in that David Harbour sequence where there's a big event that happens to the boy and he starts crying.
Yeah.
Terrible. And again, so inauthentic. It feels so artificial to that world, and it's trying so hard, but it's getting nothing.
Yeah. And like, again, because it's not backed up by anything.
Exactly.
So like you want the effect without doing any of the work. So like the kid didn't even have any logistic difficulty.
Right.
Any spoilers. So that's like one thing, right? And then the whole like hug around the torso thing, like all that stuff is like so, and then the slow, again, this isn't a spoiler. At one point there's a hug between Chris Hemsworth and the kid, right? And the kid hugs Chris Hemsworth, and then Chris Hemsworth does that thing where he has to like decide or whatever if he's gonna hug the kid back or like work up the emotional strength, you know what I mean? The slow, it's like, oh Jesus.
Yeah.
This is yeah. It's just honestly all bad to me. Because like, sure, the action scenes are cool, but first of all, for me personally, just on a more blank faced note, not all the big big stuff. I just like thought it was so like monotonous. Like I said, the noises were all the same noises and blah, blah, blah. It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, and on that, as I've said, I can deal with a kind of monotonous or seemingly monotonous kind of action film, but as we've already said, there's just nothing to back everything else up. You know, like for example, like in Mad Max Fury Road, that movie is almost constant action, but there's that whole world there and those characters that really help carry it. And you know,
and the subtle motivations are put in.
Exactly. But in this, you're just watching this aimless action and very, very graphic violence for not much reason or any payoff.
Yeah. And again, the whole thing where they freaking kill everyone in town, which is just like, I hate that. They just kill everyone in town because who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just, again, I say movies feel like kids playing make-believe, either in good ways or bad ways. And this one is by far the bad way.
Yeah. Ugh. All right, well, out of 5, Chloe? It's a 2.5 for me.
It is. I don't believe I've ever given this as a score, Henry.
Oh, wow.
The first thing I genuinely pictured in my head was properly the big forest green and everything, a dumpster fire.
Wow. Is it similar to on Music Buds when you thought of a goat exploding?
Did I say that?
Yes. You said that about the Fall Out Boy song?
Very different vibe.
Okay.
Very different vibe from the goat exploding. That's very different.
Okay.
This one is just garbage, just on lit.
Yeah.
Just on fire, and it smells just like towards like putrid. And like I said, it's in that army green dumpster behind like a strip mall where the walls are like tan colored brick. It's just no good.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. Blah. Smells, Henry. Smells. Ugh.
All right, well, with that done, let's move on to our retro review, which is Beasts of No Nation from 2015, and we do have a clip as well, so take a listen.
What is this thing doing here? What are you doing here? Who is responsible for this thing? Now, what are they calling you? Agu! I saved your life. I saved your life. I saved your life. Go! All of you that have seen your family killed. You now have something that stands for you. It has put the weapons of this war back in your hands of youth, the young, the powerful.
Okay, Beast of No Nation is also on Netflix and came out in 2015. Is written for the screen and directed by Cary Joji Fukunaga. It stars Abraham Atta, Idris Elba. Let's see.
That's good.
Yeah.
Idris Elba was the only or I should say the opposite. Idris Elba was the only actor, like the only person whose part in the movie was not their first movie part.
Gotcha.
Could I put that any worse?
And the synopsis is a drama based on the experiences of Agu, a child soldier fighting in the civil war of an unnamed African country. Well, this one, of course, as we mentioned, it's Cary Fukunaga did the first season of True Detective. He also did Jane Eyre.
Sin Nombre.
And he's also going to be doing the new James Bond, No Time to Die, coming out in November, supposedly.
And Sin Nombre.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which, if this wasn't enough for you, Sin Nombre is so good.
Yeah.
Henry, I have to tell you something. I have to thank you for choosing this movie.
Oh, no problem.
Despite its, it's very morose.
Yes,
due
it
to
is.
its reality. However, Henry, I feel like, the atrocities of the world and the more recent, I feel like I've just, how do I say it? You've helped reignite a flame in my love, admiration, and appreciation for Cary Joji. And I think he's back at the top of the list.
Oh, yeah? Oh,
I
wow.
gotta try Maniac again, because that's what threw me off.
Oh, yeah, see, I haven't watched that yet.
I gotta try it again. I'm going to. I just don't really like the casting. But hey, we're gonna go with it and see how it is.
Yeah.
That's not a good reason not to. And I've been kind of turned off by his, he does make a movie for like 18 years, that kind of thing. Not literally, it's not Kubrick, but you take my point.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a true, a true auteur, and he cares about things, and that's as seen by the mess and mayhem around the distribution, everything of this movie. It can be difficult to do.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wanted to fund it. He tried to get this movie made for 18 years. So,
Wow.
Thank God for Idris Elba. That's the only reason the movie got made, because he got a name.
That's how it goes sometimes, sadly.
Yeah. Which I think this movie proves. I mean, I'm going to be, nothing is black and white, so I'm being very cognitive dissonant about this. But, like, this movie proves something, I think, on a bigger scale, like, idolatry, like, idolizing people is, like, what has led to the crumbling of society, like, thinking you're not as good or deserving as other people based on whatever, like, freaking Kardashians and stuff, right? But, and a lot of that, I think, is because of, like, film and everything through the beginning of the industry. Like, movie stars, and I'm obviously guilty of it too, and that kind of stuff. But, this movie, I think, really proves how unnecessary it is to cast the same 3 people in every movie. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree.
Like, obviously, Idris Elba is amazing. I'm really glad he's in it. But the idea of, like, freaking casting, sorry about this one, Henry, casting Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence in all your movies,
Fair
for
enough.
goodness sake. Like,
Fair enough.
it's just, so, like, Abraham, what's his last name?
Atta.
He's incredible.
Yeah, and
he's
he
a
also
boy.
made an appearance. I don't know if he was in the sequel, but he was in Spider-Man Homecoming for a minute.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good. Because he's very talented. And,
yeah.
I do say this kind of thing a lot. Like, there's so many talented people in the world. And, like, I think also, again, one of the big ideas of movies is that it kind of unites the world. Like, a lot of people can watch the same movie, and you're even, you're sitting in a theater, at least hopefully, obviously, not right now, but,
Yeah, don't go.
social distance, guys, don't be idiots. But,
No cleaning products.
yeah, don't, that's water Henry's drinking, not, well, you can't see him, but anyway, you take the joke, whatever, but.
Yeah, they got it. They're laughing.
Anyway, yeah, I should pause so they can catch up. But yeah, it points. I don't remember where I was in that sentence, but movie theaters, like the idea of collective, and that's what creates empathy. That's what you hope for, Movies is kind of what they're supposed to do, make you feel united in strength and in sadness, and realize that's where a lot of the strength in Cary Fukunaga's work comes. I think is that he makes you, or he helps you feel like he reminds you that we're all people with the same dreams and fears, and really at the end of the day, all the same stuff,
Sure.
But I think that could be assisted by, like, casting, just more normal people. God, it's always good It's always good. And again, I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's all or nothing. Like, if you're successful, then you deserve to, keep shining your little light like
Yeah.
Idris Elba. But at the same time, same 3 people is not great all
Yeah.
the time.
I agree. Yeah.
And it's a big part of the issue with, like, whitewashing distortive history.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah, for sure.
But he's so gifted. And so it's like a blessing in disguise almost that, a big part of the reason Idris Elba, well, there are a couple. One, there was like no budget for the movie. 2, and that's why Cary Fukunaga did a lot of, he wasn't planning on being his own cinematographer for this. And he ended up having to be DP because the DP pulled his hammy on the first day.
Ooh.
So he was DP, and all that kind of stuff. But also they like couldn't afford to fly people into Ghana or whatever, so they got literally everyone but Idris Elba from around where they were, and they scouted and everything. Like, I think they said they looked at like 3,000 kids before they found him or something.
Wow.
But they found him, and that's beautiful, and he deserved
Yeah.
to be found, and he made a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm if it wasn't obvious, I like Cary Fukunaga a lot as well. I too wish he would do more
Yeah.
or do things more frequently, but still I think his filmography is still very impressive for what
Yeah.
it is.
He also does get stopped a lot, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he was supposed to do it in there.
Yes.
He was supposed to. He does get stopped a lot.
Yeah. This movie, when I hadn't seen it since I first saw it when it came out that year.
And we were excited, Henry.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait, did we?
Oh, we didn't know each other then,
Oh, well, we were excited.
but we were both excited by
That's
ourselves.
nice. I inserted you into that memory, Henry. I guess
Yeah.
I needed you there. I guess I was
Yeah.
excited all on my own.
Yeah, we were excited, but just on our own.
Well, I was very excited, and I was really trying hard to find it in the theater, but
Yeah, who knew 5 years later we would be
Whoa.
talking about it? Crazy. Anyhow,
excited might be the wrong word, but
well,
anticipatory.
yeah. When I first saw it, I liked it a lot. I did have an issue, as I think I even said on the show at some point. I found the first half to be a lot more compelling than the second half because I found the arc was more interesting, and then it kind of plateaued a little bit. But on this rewatch, maybe knowing what it was, I didn't get that at all, and I thought it flowed perfectly. And I was absolutely loving it by the end.
It's so beautiful. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Visceral is the word I would use.
Yeah, very visceral as well.
And very
But
real.
Yeah, it's so touching in so many ways, and the dynamics of the characters between Idris Elba and Abraham Atta,
Agu.
and how they
yeah.
very quietly develop those characters. Like the one thing that really sticks with me in terms of Idris Elba's character, who is the leader of this
battalion. His battalion,
this
the right word?
yeah, this rebel or guerrilla group, if you will.
But he's not. Of this infantry of the army.
Right. The thing I love, and they maybe do it twice, is he picks up a sniper scope but uses it the wrong way.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and so like it kind of shows you how he's very much all for show, but then he has no real knowledge of warfare in a way that would be really work, and obviously it doesn't really work in this. But it's things like that are so subdued, but they develop the character so much. And again, using a sniper scope backwards, then he is teaching his soldiers to do things incorrectly, and of course it all goes up in flames by the end. But it's so well written and acted, and it's just stylized and cinematic enough to not feel like a documentary, but also not so stylized
And
to
he's
where it's
made
like
a lot of a fair amount. That was like all of his early stuff was documentary work.
It's not stylized so much that it's exploiting the story or concept. It's just bringing up the or elevating the emotion in certain points that it really warrants.
He makes
that.
his stuff for the right. Did you hear my cat growling?
No.
He makes his stuff for the right reasons, and it shows. It really shows. And again, that's the idea. Like I said, that like the best thing and the good thing tend to go together, I think. But everything about, like, the idea, even what you were saying, the sniper scope, which I didn't even know that was called, so I obviously didn't notice that it was facing the wrong way. But it also is clearly symbolic of, again, this is a college essay movie, but maybe rightfully so. It sounds dumber coming from me, but like, the idea that it's all, because he's extremely, as we all know, Idris Elba is extremely charismatic and everything, and it shows you, and it obviously manifests in this character, but it shows you like the real import. Like none of them knows what they're doing or what they're fighting for, because it's really it's all illusory, really, unfortunately. And again, it's a really real thing. That's just going to get worse and worse. Not to be a Debbie Downer over here, but as wealth disparity, which I know I'm me, but Cary Fukunaga kept saying this in interviews as the few, and they really showed this well when he went to see the general, I guess, quote unquote, how businessmen were getting to go in before him,
right?
Because like, and I was talking to my mom about it when I knew I was gonna rewatch it, and this used to be a big part of my well, I shouldn't say that, because again, I sound so obnoxious, because it's not, relatively, it's like nothing, but do you know okay, we're gonna get real. Do you know do you know the organization Invisible Children?
Yeah.
Which went through all its things. So, like, they came to my school and stuff. And my favorite teacher, shout out, we all know, Mr. Buhacek, was, was the, what do they call the teacher of that club and everything. And I was, like, president. And I was like, this is so it was the focus of it gave me a lot of a heartache, as, it should give everybody. But it was but then, of course, as I grew older and more knowledgeable, which is the key to everything, and this movie does a good job of kind of showing it, is it shows that it's not like, he does such a good job of making sure you don't say like, oh, the other, like, oh, they, whatever, right?
Yes.
Because as I grew older, I realized like, oh, it's countries like mine that are fueling all of this, no pun intended, but like, they're funding all of this atrocity for self-gain and blah 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 blah. So it's obviously a way bigger picture, and it's not just like this little microcosm of all the bad things you can say, like savage and all that stupid stuff, you know what I mean? So he does a good job of highlighting that in a subtle way. But anyway, what he kept saying in interviews, because somebody said like, dang, I'm bashing interviewers in this podcast, but they deserve it.
There's a lot of bad ones out there.
So this one was like, so this movie isn't, what did he say? It was so, and again, this was in like 2015 or whatever, but he was like, this movie, you meant to make this movie a while ago, when it was more timely, but then, like, funnily, it's, like, timely again or something like that, because of, like, the refugee crisis was, like, whatever. And Cary Fukunaga, I'm so obsessed with him. Oh, my God. He was like, well, child soldiers were in the headline, so it's what people paid attention to, but it's perhaps more relevant now than ever, because it's just growing as a wealth disparity. The, richer group becomes smaller and more powerful, and everyone else, and he says, and as that spreads, then this kind of behavior will spread, which is absolutely true. Oof. And it does such a good job of showing, especially with these kids, this movie, again, like my favorite kind of movie, I think the best kinds of movies, because they talk about the human condition, unfortunately. Like, the whole thing about it being timely is so freaking ridiculous, and the way that, first of all, it that whole notion is so exploitative of people's realities. Like even today, there's like over 350,000 child soldiers. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Much less sweatshops and everything. But anyway.
Oh no, Chloe. Quick thing.
Oh yes, Henry.
Have you read the book?
Yes, I have.
You have? Okay. I haven't yet. I want to.
It's really good. It's fictitious. It's based on so he became very focused on his family's from Nigeria. I read it I read it when the movie came out, so I haven't read it for several years. So, but I watched like a couple interviews with him today because of this, whatever. Because I'm prepared and everything. Yeah. But the interviewers kept incorrectly saying that he was from Nigeria, and he is not. He was born in America, so he's of Nigerian descent, which kind of goes to the idea that like. And Cary Fukunaga's work does a really good job. I think part of it is to bridge the gap between like the idea that you have to be that person to care about that is a really big thing. Again, like identity politics, like, and it really upsets me that that's like a preconceived notion almost that's become a reality. And I like that his work deconstructs that. But like the interviewers who it's their job to know these things incorrectly say that this man's from Nigeria is kind of ridiculous. Just his family's from there and he visits there sometimes. But
right.
But yeah, so it started out in middle school. He was at the time during the civil wars of Sierra Leone and stuff. And but you know what I mean. And he was reading about and everything in the papers, and he was the same age at that time as the kids, which is kind of how I remember feeling. Because Sierra Leone, it's like horrible. But and again, it all feeds together so well. Angelina Jolie went to visit Comey. That's crazy. The world of idea. Okay, sorry. It's so much. I'm so sorry. I'll get back on point. But
it's all good.
Anyway.
But if I might interrupt you for a moment.
Please do.
I on a more personal note, I can't thank you enough for bringing these things up because
Henry.
Because not only is it important just for everybody to be aware of, but I personally, when I've been watching movies, I've been thinking more so about the things that you mentioned.
Henry?
Yes, I know, right?
Aww.
Like for example, I was watching Hobbs and Shaw the other day.
Oh God, I'm destroying your life.
And not to get too off beat here, but the female character, it kind of becomes not that this is dealing with child soldier issues at all.
Same idea. Dismissal of people as people.
Yeah. How even though she kind of has a action or a kind of equal level in terms of the male characters, she's still kind of the men have to go and save her. And I was thinking to myself, Chloe wouldn't like that. And so I can't thank you enough for bringing these things up as much as you do, because I have noticed in my own life, I'm becoming more aware.
Aww,
so thank you.
The feeling is mutual, Henry, because you make me watch a lot. Actually, I was thinking it when I was watching Extraction. I was like, God, I was like, compare this to Planet of the Apes. I'm so glad I saw that, which I never would have seen, but this is trash. Yeah,
you'll catch those 12-minute long takes.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
But yeah, so it's happening all the time, and yeah. Oh, so then it kind of was, stuck in his mind as hopefully we all have that kind of thing. Because if everyone just has that one thing that sticks in their mind and it's like, we gotta do something about this, then so much would be better if everyone just has this one little thing, domino effect. So his was this, and he eventually went to Harvard, and he did his thesis project on child soldiers and rehabilitation, everything like this. And then he wrote the book about it, and the book is based on Agu, which is, again, he's like an amalgamation. He's a created character based on all the truths of the injustices and atrocities against these little people, much less their families and everybody else involved. God, I mean, it's terrible for everyone.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know why the only form of equality we have in the world is genocide. But anyway, but anyway, so yes, and he wrote this book, and Cary Fukunaga, somebody actually gave it to him, and he read it, and he was like, this is amazing. And he was self-conscious at first about writing it, because he was like, oh, no one's going to take this on. Turns out he was right, so that sucks. But so he shelved it for a while, did Sin Nombre and Jane Eyre, which, you know, so I guess you kind of have to, and that was still good, which is actually a really good lesson for me. You know, you got to kind of give in a little bit to get a little bit, but you can still make it worth your time. So, yes, so then they collaborated, and Idris Elba was brought in way later. It was just one phone call with Cary Fukunaga. He hadn't read the script or anything, and he was like, yeah, I'm super in. So then they had a very short time. They filmed it in like 36 days, I think. They had a really small window because of Idris Elba's schedule, basically. And they reworked the character a lot. He was originally way smaller character, and he changed a lot. And in the book, he was way more like austere. Like, it wasn't so much like you were saying, we did this one because of the like weird paternal whatever, and that wasn't really there in the book, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
But it makes sense because, again, it's just a smaller. It could very well have been Agu who was in that spot, because again, he's fictionalized. Which, you know how I say, if you're gonna do that, just make it, just make up names and stuff. How I say that about stuff a lot when they change things, just say it's a different place. No one will know, right? You know what I mean? Like, just make it. And so this does that, which I really appreciate, because then they could make those adjustments without being dismissive of what actually happened. So a lot of research went into it, and a lot of care, which is clearly the kind of people who would make this movie. So appreciate Netflix for that. It was their first original movie. So
that's right. Yeah.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah.
Of course, it didn't get. This was also the year of the Oscar #Oscar So White, that kind of thing, and it didn't get anything, but it won like a lot of Independent Spirit Awards. But okay, breathe and focus on what matters to say, Chloe. Okay, so reel me in. You gotta be the Tom Cruise to my. Okay, actually, well, okay. So I'm thinking about Rain Man. But yeah, so. Yeah, so it was a collaboration of the three of them mainly, and you know, they found the little boy and everything, and he's wonderful. And I'll tell you another interesting thing though.
Okay. So
basically, they were like, "Where are we gonna film this?" Cary Fukunaga was like, "We have to film it in Africa because it looks, you know, it just has its own look." And you know, it's very like lush and like the Crimson Peak level. Like, you think North Carolina has red clay ground. Yeah. That clay was crazy.
Yeah. Like when he's in the ditch or the trench. Oh,
beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah. It is so quietly beautiful.
Yeah, like, we should stop to say that.
Yeah, it's so well shot, but it's not showy at all. It's like when it lingers on shots and you're watching characters conversing, you'll kind of notice after a moment the backgrounds, and
that's what he's best at, I think.
Yeah, and the compositions, and it's amazing.
It's absolutely beautiful, and he also takes a page from where we are in the journey. So, like, can we talk about the? It's probably one of my. I mean, it is one of my very favorite opening shots or scenes, even of like any movie ever, with the TV, with the.
Oh yeah.
And oh my God, it's so beautiful. Yeah. And you know, it's just purely beautiful and interesting and unusual. It almost reminds me of like some of the bits from or I guess Lemonade. Some bits from Lemonade almost remind me of the way that that's shot, but just the kind of earthy beauty and the kind of like weird ethereal stuff that can come from reality and everything.
Yeah.
Just the and also so beautiful.
In terms of the beauty of it, the world feels so full. Like, the depth of shots and the villages that they're in and the forests, it really feels like you're watching a real place. Which I mean, you are in many ways, but
Yeah,
the
Tingana.
the
But
world in
a big part of that as well, which was what?
what? Wait.
Oh, we had a Zoom moment. What? You go ahead.
I was just gonna say the world feels so full and so rich.
Yeah,
From a cinematic perspective.
of course. Yeah. Which again, in some ways, I'm probably a little bit like him. Like, this is me going off. This was his life, like his mission to tell this story for 18 years and the author decades. So like, there you go. So imagine, and he really does put in all that work and he's very specific. And yeah, you can definitely see, like a mark of, I think anyway, like a good director, you can be like, oh, that's a Cary Fukunaga movie,
Yeah.
But yeah, he does so much with it because again, he really appreciates the world he's in. So we're going through like steps and stages. I went off from I was going to say a fun fact, but I forgot. But anyway, so the movie starts and it's like beautiful and lush. And if you want to be like real obnoxious and college essay about it, you can be like, it's through a TV showing you this glimpse and it's kind of reminding you that what you're seeing is nothing like the reality, which is far worse. You know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. And even, you're seeing it through the TV, like how you quote unquote imagine Africa. Cause you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure those, and no offense, cause everyone's just trying to do their best and I really appreciate that. But I've always been like in college and stuff, like people post selfies with like a bunch of little kids who are clearly like your like high school peers who did like a mission trip or something like take selfies from like an orphanage and crap with these kids who clearly like I just hate that, right? So like so it's that kind of like quote unquote picture of Africa where you like what they say, like you can like adopt a kid, you can sponsor a kid from Africa the same way you sponsor freaking tiger. Like it's so just bizarre to me because again it's like the whole idea of like distance and kind of a form of superiority, which is again stopped by this movie because and this is the way he it's the empathy he feels shows through both in the content but also the way he does it. So like you're most of the time you're at Agu's level, so it's not shot you're down below. I don't even know how tall is a kid that age. I should know, but I can't do measurements.
Yeah.
Anyway, not the height of a man who's doing the filming. You're little. You're like a 10, right? Yeah. So the whole movie you're like on his level. So you're like looking up at Idris Elba and you're, all that stuff. But he shifts. So like at first it's like slow and beautiful and you're like always with Agu, and then it switches when he's in the jungle. It's like tons of, I don't know if it's drones or what, but he's like way far away and you see how little teeny speck he is in this huge green forest, and that kind of shows you the power of illustration in a movie for to evoke feeling, because then it kind of makes sense to you why he's so susceptible once it takes place. Because a lot of times, and I'm really guilty of it, as we all know, as Henry especially knows, sitting next to me in movies, when I start acting out and being like, why don't they just put it? But this movie does a really good job of stopping you from the opportunity to do that, because it makes you really feel it. So I can't just be like, so you wouldn't just be like, well, why doesn't he just run away? You know what I mean? Because you're like, it tells you he's in the middle of nowhere and he's this little baby. And it does a really good job of, it goes over a lot of the tactics they use in environments as such. Like, they drug kids and they brainwash kids and that kind of thing. There's a lot of violence, very similar to gang mentalities in America, for instance. The whole idea of like family, and also you can't leave because you'll be arrested, that kind of thing. Right.
So, well, I mean, the interesting thing about leadership in this movie is it shows you how a charismatic, seemingly confident leader can inspire or attempt to inspire young people almost through the same means, in terms of being passionate and trying to be brave, and how the worst messages can be communicated through those passages as if someone was preaching the right message, and it's kind of the same platform, but it's all of the wrong ideas.
Yeah, and I think that message is so important because you look at like the disenfranchised, which is a very simple way to put what these kids, for instance, are dealing with. You know, they've been kind of cast out or not helped by society, right? So and that's another thing about making the world smaller. Like he says, everyone in the world's dealing with the same things, which I really appreciate, is that if you don't do the right thing and help people the right way, they're going to fall into, there will be somebody there to catch them, and it's not good for anyone who that person is. Which again is which, not to talk about, it's our president for starters, but it'll get a lot worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. I agree with you. Because, people can know the right thing and the right ways to behave, and they can take those and use the effective methods, and they say the real things and then do the wrong things. Again, like Trump right now is talking about like Medicare for all and stuff, which he's not going to do, but that's the whole thing. But yeah, it's all illusory, and it's all the fight for power and everything. And I like that they show that Idris Elba is in the top of the, like, I'm really glad that they did like just some middle, they zoomed in, like how it's no actual place in Africa. They zoom into this one group. They don't just talk about like, they don't act like it's one horrible person in charge of the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like a cycle of abuse that gets worse and worse, which, but it does have an inspiring, true ending,
It does, yes.
For a lot of, not everyone, but for some, which is hopeful. But also I really like, now this is a little bit of Chloe's shade corner. We won't stay here too long, don't worry.
Okay.
But the whole idea of the white savior and everything, I'm really glad this movie, and I'm not surprised, I'm really glad this movie did not embrace the UN as like a savior, because, sorry everybody, UN sucks. But anyway, but I'm just glad they didn't take the easy way out, which you can rely on filmmakers you trust to know that they won't. Like, I knew he wouldn't. But also, okay, I'm done now on my thing. But, okay. Oh, so then we didn't even, so I'm midpoint. So then when we get into the jungle, I'm talking about movie stuff, don't worry. When we get into the jungle, then it becomes like, handheld and everything. And the, sound changes. So it's a lot more, and the lighting. So it's like natural lighting, and there's like, what's the word for that? There's a professional word for that, but anyway, it's like the real.
For what?
For like real sounds.
I mean,
there's a
real sounds. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a movie word for it, but whatever. Real sounds.
I went to film school.
Yeah. Yeah, it all sticks, but there's a real sound stuff, and then it shifts back again, and but. Anyway, so basically what I'm saying, without going through the whole thing, because everyone's already done with me, is that he adjusts his filmmaking styles to adhere to what the story requires for you to feel most in it, which I really, really appreciate. And even like the drug scene, he like colored that himself. Like it's dope. I mean, it's not. It's terrible, and I didn't mean to say dope in that context. I'm trying to stop saying dope because it's bad. But, because that's where I'm at. But anyway, he's just so admirable as a filmmaker. One, he's admirable as a storyteller, which is most important to me, right? But separately, he's so admirable as a filmmaker. Like, he's just so good. He's so good. And the sound... Let's talk about the soundtrack, or it's not a soundtrack, the score.
Oh, the score is great. Yeah.
It's like synth and stuff, and they actually didn't want it to sound like it was from anywhere, so like it was not orchestral, and it was not like just like African drums, which might be like the, quote unquote woke thing to do or whatever. But it's like all these different instruments from all over altered, so none of them sounds quite like they actually do, and like they don't actually belong anywhere.
Interesting.
Which I think is so cool, because that's how these, beasts have no nation,
Yeah.
Which is very powerful. It was the title of the book. So, and I think it really, it really encapsulates a lot of the themes and messages of the work very well. Whilst not dismissing
sure.
the one-on-one level of injustice and despair caused. It does a really good job of balancing the big issues and the personal. I mean, I cried because of the characters more than I did because of what the movie's showing, which says a lot. Which shows again that it's a good movie. You know what I mean? It's not just it's not just like punch you in the face with like things are terrible, but it like invests you in the characters and everything. Like Striker. Oh my god, we haven't even talked about little baby. Oh my god, have you ever?
Yeah.
I love him. Oh my god, he's such a good character.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. He's like he's like a classic character somehow. You know what I mean? Like it's so complex. And that little boy is amazing, by the way. But oh my word.
In terms of humanizing the characters as Fukunaga does, the one scene that comes to mind is you get a look at this abuse that's happening between Idris Elba and his soldiers, and as Agu comes out, they've just been dealing with, they've just had a huge day of very violent fighting, and you've seen them do terrible things. Of course, they had no idea what they're doing, but you contrast that with these two boys just kind of hugging and just kind of comforting each other, and you see right after that they are just little kids, and they're just having to deal with the world that they're in. And also another one that comes to mind is towards the very end where Agu is at this I don't know what you call it, the
rehabilitation center.
There are these two boys who leave.
That other kid was so good too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There are actors everywhere. That kid next to him, who was like just next to him in that scene, that kid was great.
Yeah, and he does a great job of putting in these little, not the best term, but nuggets, little cinematic nuggets that feed this world and those characters, and you can see how much Agu knows how that life and them leaving this center could be the death of them.
Yeah. And
so he does a great job of not hammering you against the head like you said, but
he doesn't want to make you, he doesn't want to, he's confident enough in what he's doing to not want to make you feel all better by the end. Like he doesn't tie up all the loose ends, because the loose ends are what makes it real life. Yeah. Yeah. It's so beautiful. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Every moment. I could talk about this movie endlessly. Endlessly. Oh my gosh. But yeah.
Even considering how dark it is, when I finished it, I immediately wanted to rewatch it.
And that is a testament to how good it is. Exactly. Yeah. Because it's about the worst. It's about the most difficult content. It's very difficult, but it's so engaging, and it also does a really good job because it allows the ease. That's the other thing, like Extraction or whatever tries to force all these ideas about the human condition and what makes you survive and whatever, but this movie just allows the truth to kind of shine through, like how love and even a little bit of hope, but even if you don't have hope, just a connection to another person is what can keep you going. Yeah. Which I think is so meaningful, because it's not going to make everything good, but it can, again, just the little bit of steps. And the little things Agu says are so meaningful, because they actually sound like they could come out of a little baby's mouth. They're not having him, spit Play-Doh at you. You know what I mean? Like, it's very true to self. And it has a lot of unanswered questions because they don't need to be answered. You're just kind of... Well, they do, but they can't be. I guess that's the point. They can't be right now. But even, again, back to the reason I thought we put these movies together is because you told me, you had texted me and been like, oh, it's a big deal, this like 15-minute one take through the thing in Extraction. But the one in the middle of Beast of No Nation is so impactful, how he's just walking around pushing the stuff off the top of just destruction for the sake of destruction is so like potent, and it's so in your face again because there aren't like loud crashes and stuff like that, you know what I mean? It's just
Also when he sees that woman and the confusion also in terms of his subtle commentary
and the rage that he's been taught to feel from his upset
towards the end where it all falls apart, you see how easily a group like that, without either the fear or the I guess the hope or the mission statement, when that's gone, there's no attachment to Idris Elba's character, whereas you know a good leader could maybe lose something along the way.
Moses.
But there's still there could still be the love there for them. But in this, it's like they're out of bullets. I'm gone. I'm done. You know.
Exactly. That's a really good point too. Yeah, which is again, it's a lot of like it's like how I like to talk to kids as if they're real people. So it's like honest. It's honest portrayals of what hope is. So it's not like a beautiful like, oh, like, you know, the skies open up and whatever. It's like, okay, we're finally out of bullets. Oh, that means his power's taken away. That means we can at least try towards something else. You know what I mean?
Right.
And oh my God, can you believe the beauty? I don't know if this is a spoiler. I don't want to say it, but again, everything is so meaningful. Like the whole thing with the water and Extraction, right? They try to like bring it back around or whatever. The whole imagination TV thing, you know, what ends up happening with that gets brought back around and they see each other, and that's so beautiful and so meaningful because it also shows you, it's just another piece of hope, the idea of community and all that stuff. So beautiful. And again, very poignant because we see like the littler kids, the UN sponsored stuff. It's not the UN, by the way. It's the government. You know, they're assisted with the UN helmets and stuff. The UN has to write that they gave them the helmets. But who, by the way, also a lot of like the water in the bag and stuff. You can say that they took such things from, they just don't even bring it up, which I really respect. And he said that was kind of on purpose anyway, but they don't bring up whether that water was, you know, stopped and stolen by the rebels or given to the rebels, which is, but anyway, oh no, what was I saying? Oh, so they show that the little kids are being taken in the truck like to safety, right? But the older kids are still on the ground with their hands behind their head and everything, with the soldiers pointing their guns at them, and we don't see what happens to them, which I think is also really important and potent and relevant again to American society, you know, who is like capable of quote unquote rehabilitation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Also, to kind of circle back to how he presents things, especially with humanizing people, the scene towards maybe in the first third where there's the bridge ambush, you know, and after Agu does this really terrible thing, he's looking through something, I can't remember exactly, but he makes a point of showing the camera, and you can see like the shorts he's wearing, and they're like these athletic shorts that you could buy at Target, you know, and it immediately, without saying anything, is very touching because you're like, this is just a kid, you know. He could have just gone to Walmart and bought these shorts, you know.
Well, what's more is what's more is the way that a lot of those kids get their clothes is either they're sent by America,
Right.
or sometimes they're found, which is interesting because America sends a lot of its garbage to Africa, and the African government gets money for housing the landfills, which is quite something because none of that money goes back into the infrastructure of the country, as evident by the fact that they just allow for landfills from all the American crap on But anyway, so it's even more so. So it's good, again, that you can take different, that also shows good storytelling, is that again, heuristics, whatever, allow you to see these certain things, to empathize or whatever, in different ways depending on who you are. So like, for you, that's just as effective as for me. I saw it as, oh, so people, kind of the point of this movie is people think they're helping, because the UN brings over these clothes. What are they doing while they're wearing these clothes that we've grown out of? It's not like a huge feat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like something easy you do to try to console yourself.
Yeah, and I think, and on my point, it was maybe even more of thinking about it from my perspective. Like that's those are shorts that like I would wear, when I was younger, and so it's like this immediate like punch in the face of reality. Exactly.
Ugh, it's such a good movie because it's so. Should I say my self-professed catchphrase? It's so pregnant.
Yes.
I hate that. Oh my god.
That's okay. But yeah, it is for sure.
Ugh, there's so much to it. You could just talk about it on end. Because unfortunately, unlike that interviewer said, it's eternally relevant. Topical is exactly the problem. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's like, which injustice are we going to acknowledge today so that we feel relevant as we, or whatever. But anyway, you can't fix the world, but if you think about yourself as part of it, if everybody did, then it'd be a little better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
Again, you could be like, oh well, he's just making a movie or whatever, right? But it has impact, and it also makes people feel, I don't know, more, it puts a fire in your belly a little bit, or it makes you feel a little seen, or, so forth and so on. Also, he did film it in Ghana, and they used a lot of, basically everyone there. Actually, now this is interesting. This shows you that everything's not black and white. I don't know where, I'm just gonna lay this out. I got no, nothing, no commentary, because God even knows. But basically, Cary Fukunaga hired a bunch of people who had been child soldiers in real organizations, from Sierra Leone, whatever, to be consultants or extras, which the extra seems kind of like a bad idea. But anyway, just because I feel like PTSD is not great, but who knows? Consultants, whatever, but they were stopped at the border for being, suspected, mercenaries. Yeah, which is quite gnarly, and it shows, like, the government there is not great. Like, they even thought about cutting out the scene with sexual abuse by Idris Elba. They thought about cutting it out because Ghana, when they were making the movie, there was a lot of unkind, unfounded, just wrong and immoral hatred towards the LGBTQ community by the government. So they were thinking about cutting it out because they didn't want to help encourage those stereotypes or whatever. But then, they kind of came to the conclusion they had to tell the story in full, in hopes, that the greater good, as it were, and the, truth will out. You can't, So that's another interesting thing about the level of dedication to the movie and the themes and the goals and hopes of it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a 5 for me.
Oh yeah. It's okay. Should I just tell you what I picture? Okay.
Please.
So apparently there's this restaurant called Meadow somewhere between here and Oak Island, where my best friends have a beach house and that kind of thing.
Okay.
And they stop, and it's in the middle of nowhere. It's like a farm-to-table restaurant, but it's literally like in a meadow, I guess. I've never been there. I keep trying to go there with them, but like something always happens where I don't go or where we don't end up going. And so, but I have this very vivid picture of it where it's a huge meadow, as you can imagine, North Carolinian style. And like the grass kind of tall, and there's like a little log cabin-y thing, or like wooden building where they make the food and then they bring it out to you on these picnic tables, which I imagine being very long and big and like unfinished and stuff. And then the tables have like, you know, they have like pitchers that they're now, you know, your mason jar style that
Sure.
they're now using as like vases, and the tables are covered in flowers and stuff like that. And there's communal tables, like I said, and there's like, you know, bread baskets and that kind of thing. And it's, you
Nice.
know, but I picture it because of what happened. We were going to go, and then there was a huge hurricane, which I left early, narrowly, to avoid the hurricane. But so now when I picture it, I see it kind of, it's like that, and then a huge gray overcast, and the hurricane, and the wind, and all the food and everything swirls. So it's like beautiful, but also, you know, scary and terrible.
Nice. All right. Well,
And that's
cool.
what
yeah.
that's what came to mind.
All right. Well, I guess we can touch on maybe a little bit of news. The big thing, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, San Diego Comic-Con 2020 is canceled for the first time in maybe, I think they said 55 years or so.
Sad.
Yeah. And it's going to, they plan to have it reopened or happen in 2021. Yeah, we also
That's what I
had...
was saying about Disney as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. All the theme parks are closed until 2021, I think, for Disney.
No, I don't think it's official,
Oh, no. Okay.
but I could be wrong. But
And then I think the Spider-Man 3 film has been pushed back, and then the production's on...
what an emotional roller coaster, Tom Holland. First, he wasn't in it anymore.
Right.
Da-na-na-na.
Boy.
This is mostly a satirical,
Yes.
but also true things.
Yeah, and then...
I'm trying to seem like I know anything about Marvel. That's
no,
mostly
it's-
what's happening.
And then
Oh, I wanted that Natalie Portman Taika Waititi movie. Now I feel a little invested and a little upset.
I think that got pushed up, actually. So,
Nice.
I don't think by that much, but still got pushed up. Where and
A
then
win for me.
Mission Impossible 7 and 8, which were set to film back to back, I think got pushed back at least a year. So a lot of big delays going on, but rightfully so.
I would love to see Tom Cruise have to film all of it by himself, you know, with a green screen
He would
or
do it.
whatever he wants. Exactly. Yes, he would.
Yeah,
I would love to see the Tom Cruise cut of.
for sure. Yeah,
Did the one come out where he busted? Yeah, that one came out, right? Where he busted his leg open.
yeah,
Okay, so we got something.
yeah. Well, Chloe, any other news? There was a Venom 2 got a title. You see that?
Oh, crazy title.
Yeah, Venom, Let
Somehow
There Be
Carcasses
Carnage.
or something? Oh, Carnage.
Yeah, because of the villain going to be played by Woody Harrelson.
With the hair.
We got a Hunger Games prequel officially announced. Chloe, are you psyched?
Ah, that looked terrible. Was it like fake people or what was that? They didn't look real. They looked like CGI people.
What do you mean?
It might just been the finishing, but they just in the
They released a little. It might be. Yeah, I don't know if that was for the book that's coming out or or not.
maybe
it
that's
could be
it.
that. I'm not sure.
Could be for the book. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're living in it. We're living in the prequel, everyone. This
Yeah.
is this is the kind of society that goes right to Hunger Games.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I was saying something about that to my mom earlier.
Did
Yeah,
you
because
hear?
I'm a psycho, but I wanted things to not be bad. So.
Yeah. It happened a couple weeks ago. I can't remember which state, maybe Louisiana or something, and the police played the Purge siren during the city to announce the curfew or the lockdown. They played the Purge siren from the films
On purpose?
Yeah, in the town or the city that it took place in. And of course, they got a ton of complaints and they stopped. But they chose to use that sound.
Henri, don't let me go off on the broken policing system of America.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a whole other episode. Let's review Fruitvale Station, okay?
yeah.
Ugh. Oh my God, it doesn't surprise me, and I wish it did. That's insane.
Yeah.
Whatever. Ugh. God. At least it got complaints, but Jesus.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know if there's...
I'm glad people are keeping their sense of humor in this.
Yeah. Anything else news-wise, Chloe?
I mean, you know more than I. It's just a lot of things get...
Yeah, just a lot of delays, so not a whole lot to
delays,
say.
I guess.
Yeah.
But, we gotta... I don't know. Gotta work it out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll find something.
Work it out. I just wish that they'd be a little more reasonable about releasing things,
Yeah.
on not video, on whatever this is called.
On demand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
All right, well, I guess we can move on and we can get to some mail. So the Film Buds podcast at gmail.com is where you can reach us at. Also, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Film Buds. If you're desperate on Instagram. And so we have just a list of different titles or entertainment that people have been watching during quarantine. And so thank you to all the people who contributed. And if you haven't yet, please send us either a story structured message.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, like we did a few weeks ago. Or you can just send us a list of things you've been watching, just the titles. So we'd love to hear from you. Or
a voice memo. We'll pop you on.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe we'll put you in the video podcast, a little clip.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I'd do that. We'd do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So, Chloe, if it's all right, I'm just gonna read them off, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, I'll probably interrupt.
Yeah, and I'll try to space them to where it's like the titles are it's one person at a time. But so let's see. Starting off, we have Westworld and Schitt's Creek. We have...
Sounds like my sister.
Yeah, we have Mel Brooks. Just Mel Brooks.
Oh,
yeah.
Sounds like me.
I
love Mel Brooks.
We got Ford versus Ferrari. And apparently the ending was a punch in the gut. We have Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay, classic.
Yeah, and then we have a little bit longer message here. British Mysteries on Acorn, BritBox, Masterpiece, and anywhere else.
Sounds like my mom.
Yeah, anywhere else I can find them. And of course... Hallmark movies and mysteries. Perfect when sheer unoriginal
fluff
fluff
my aunt.
is needed. Please don't tell Chloe it is your aunt.
We love Sin.
Yeah. Cooking competitions and mysteries.
Sounds like my mom.
It was your mom. We have a entire rewatch of Community.
Oh, sounds like me. That's great.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Okay, we love.
And then as a group, we have The Prodigy, The League, and the original Star Trek.
The Prodigy, The League, and the OG Star Trek.
Yes.
Okay, I've seen 2 out of 3. I don't know what The Prodigy is.
I'm not sure either, actually.
We gotta look into it.
Yeah.
I don't like The League myself, but
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And then another longer one here. We have Schitt's Creek again. Ozark. P.S.
Okay.
P.S. Holy shit, Ozark, you are crazy.
Oh, I thought that was a show.
No.
That's the after show. This person's got to start a podcast about Ozark.
Yeah.
That's passion.
Tried to get into The Hunters, but it didn't take.
Oh, try it again if you're listening. I loved Hunters.
Yeah. All the British cop mystery shows that ever happened.
My mom wrote again.
The Punk Singer. The Punk Singer. That's the title. A Friends documentary about Kathleen Hanna of Bikini Kill. That's cool.
Oh, you better watch it, Henry.
Yeah, I will. Then we have Trapped, Unorthodox, and Mary Tyler Moore. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Unorthodox myself, but that's
what I've been hearing.
Discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, from me.
Yeah, and from other people as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And then Trapped.
I watched it basically only to try to protect my sister. I watched it to know whether or not she could watch it, basically, or would be upset if she watched it, basically.
Yeah.
It won for me. What is The Prodigy?
And then a few more here. We have Online Lectures and The Nanny.
Okay. That does sound like my sister.
It is your sister.
Oh.
We have The Faculty.
We love The Nanny.
Yeah.
That's our mom.
We have 6 Feet Under, Better Call Saul, Plot Against America, My Brilliant Friend, among others.
This person's watching all the stuff. I'm like, oh, I should watch that. So
yeah, and then this last one is interesting. Ray Donovan for a bit of culture, comma. No, this is the kicker. Comma. I've added French subtitles.
I love that. Wait, I do that too. You know.
Yeah.
I never stick through it, and I just have the subtitles on without. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Ray Donovan is an interesting choice.
I've never watched it.
I think that's okay.
Yeah.
It's like, it's one of those, I won't say more. Mm-hmm. Need I? Perhaps. Will I? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so that's the list. So thanks again to everybody for commenting or sending in messages, and please do if you haven't yet.
I will. I second The Nanny.
Yeah.
In Community.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we can end off with our own pieces of quarantine entertainment, Chloe. Our picks of the week.
I have a really good one.
All right. I have a handful as well. So
go for it.
You want me to start?
I think I only have one, so we'll end on that one.
So I have a handful of rewatches. Actually, first of all, should we talk a little bit about Sharp Objects?
Sure, let's get into it. I'm here.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Now I've watched 5 episodes, and I will have to say, since we changed or decided not to review it, I kind of gave up. I was running out of steam somewhat. But it's
slow. It might be too slow a burn.
Yeah, the Amy Adams HBO miniseries based off the Gillian Flynn novel who did Gone Girl. And it's directed by Jean-Marc Vallée, who did Dallas Buyers Club and Big Little Lies, Wild. I thought I'm fine.
So how many are there?
What?
How many are there? 6 or 8 or what?
It's like maybe 8. 8-ish.
Okay, so you're on 5.
I haven't read the book. Have you, Chloe?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Not my deal.
Yeah.
The TV show barely had me hang.
Yeah, I liked Gone Girl a lot, and I liked this a lot for the most part, but by episode 5, it felt so extended. Like, I think this easily could have been a 2.5-hour movie, like Gone Girl.
Oh,
you know? And
oh, yeah.
I'm fine with it being slightly more long form, but I could not believe that I still had 3 or 4 hour long episodes left, because it felt like nothing happened throughout most of each episode, and then there would be a mysterious teaser at the end.
And the twists are all very predictable.
Yeah.
We got every single one. I think I told you I watched this with Kaylee, who I've praised her for this continuously. I don't know. But I've always praised her for this because she has such an imaginative, creative mind, and she really underestimates that about herself. And her theories for where things are going are so much more interesting than what actually happens. And it's really a downer.
Yeah.
But it was very predictable. So what I thought was going to happen is what happened, which is not a gold star. But what she thought was going to happen, I said, oh my God, let me watch that. And there's none of what happened.
Yeah. I liked Amy Adams a lot. I thought she's
so good.
She really fit that character perfectly. All the performances otherwise are fairly good, but again, it's the pacing. It's just the amount of content that's there for, I'm guessing, what seems to be a bad payoff, as well as just
I think I told you.
The emptiness of the show at a certain point.
Yeah, but let me live in that gorgeous house.
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay, that is just my style. I've told my mom and I have been going for lots of walks, as you can imagine. Lots through Hillsborough, old Hillsborough.
Okay.
And it's like, oh my gosh, and also downtown Chapel Hill. Safe. Don't worry, everybody. Actually, I found a lot more because I've been a little, anxious. It's weird. Who knows why?
Weirdly.
But about trails and stuff, just because they're so narrow and you get kind of stuck.
Yeah,
and my
yeah.
mom and I are always the ones to go in the woods. You only want to be friends with the people who go in the woods, not the people who pretend like you're not there.
No. Oh, yeah. So I actually, speaking of, I actually went on a walk earlier today, Chloe, with my dog. My dog found a half-eaten hamburger bun that she snatched up. And I go on walks maybe almost every day now with her, and truly every time I always see someone coming, and I'm like, okay, are we playing a little game of chicken here? Who's gonna turn? And finally, I just have to go on the other side. I'm like, and then they make no attempt to. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it, but.
Yeah, that kind of thing really annoys my mom too, but like I don't waste my energy on that kind of thing because like people gonna people, you know what I mean? But most people are, so it's like very weird. But then some people wave at you while you're standing in the woods because they're like thanks or whatever, and other people don't acknowledge you and you're like whatever. But I'm like anxious about getting stuck between people, which has happened, or like you go in the woods and then you're like, Clobo's been very susceptible to ticks, so she's like scared. I'm scared of ticks now. A side effect of getting a tick is you start talking in first person. But anyway, I just said Clobo's scared of ticks and she's whatever, which was not on purpose. And then also my mom doesn't like snakes, that kind of thing. So I was like, yo, just park in a public parking area and take strolls around spaces.
Yeah.
That are not just because everyone's like trail walking or whatever. So my advice to you is, for example, we've been going parking at the pool near the neighborhood my grandparents lived, and I grew up there, and I just walk around. There's like endless neighborhoods, and there's like nobody there, so just walk around there, and that's very nice. But what's talking about the houses? Oh, I said this to my mom on one of those walks. It was one of the ones in Hillsborough, as you can imagine, with what I'm going to say. But, like the houses are so pretty, but I don't want those slave owning ghosts. Okay,
right.
I'm not living in a historical house. I appreciate like they're so pretty, like the ones in Sharp Objects. It just ain't worth it. It just ain't worth it because. And look, I know that whole thing of like, oh, not all slave owners were mean or whatever, but guess what? A lot were. Okay, so I'm not trying to live. Sorry, Thomas Jefferson. I'm not trying to live in a slave owner's house with the that. There's so much there, right?
Yeah,
and also. I have a weird relationship with my spirituality, my belief in ghosts and stuff like that, right? But I am not trying to trap my grandparents with an old slave owner who's probably super, he probably doesn't like Jews, first of all. He's probably also terrible conversational. I don't want to trap my family ghosts with those people. So I'm not living in a house like the beautiful house in Sharp Objects, but I will put things from it on my inspiration board. Yeah. Which I don't have. Because I'm not that person, but I admire the people who do. But not the flooring.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was all right. I don't know if I'll finish it. Maybe.
You got to now. I put some good jokes in there you didn't get. So.
Oh, yeah. And then I also rewatched Moneyball and Foxcatcher. Both.
Oh, Foxcatcher's underrated.
Both directed by Bennett Miller. And I checked. Foxcatcher came out in 2014. He has done nothing since, nor is there anything announced on his page. Where is the guy? He's.
That's rough.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I was worried you might have a story about him or something.
No, I'm just worried because of that movie's intense, man. I'm worried something happened, I'm worried he didn't take care of himself emotionally. Yeah,
maybe so. But I love Moneyball. It's written by Aaron Sorkin and Steven Zalian, who did Schindler's List, The Night of, the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the American one, and a lot of others. but it's so well written, and Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill are so good together. And this might be my favorite, or one of my favorite, Philip Seymour Hoffman performances. He's great in it as well. It's now Chloe, I don't know if you know this, but prior to high school, I was a massive baseball fan and player.
I can see that.
Yes.
We might have talked about this.
So I essentially exchanged...
You stopped because of the pants. That's why I would have stopped.
No. But
They're hot.
Around that time, I essentially exchanged baseball for Green Day. And you can kind of get... So it was
Dang.
like... That was my Green Day
jump.
back in the day. So I even though I
Who's
don't...
your favorite baseball player?
I liked Derek Jeter a lot. I was a big Yankee fan.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyhow, I do have an appreciation for the sport, and I enjoy baseball movies, but I at least found that it was fairly accessible, even if you're not a diehard baseball fan. I think. I could be wrong, but I think they present it in a way where it's accessible to most people, but it's so well written and so funny and well directed. Also, one thing about Bennett Miller, I love how quiet his movies are. And now they're complemented or contrasted by very visceral moments like in Foxcatcher, but I love how calm and quiet his movies are.
That's how they get you.
Yeah.
The negative space is just as important.
Yeah. So
He does have 2 upcoming projects, apparently.
Oh, really? Oh, well, they weren't on IMDb, so they're slacking.
Yeah.
Yet again.
Once with George Clooney, so I couldn't give a crap. And I don't like George Clooney. And then in case you couldn't tell by that, yeah. And the other one is A Christmas Carol, which everyone is doing. So who knows if that one holds.
Okay. And then Foxcatcher, which is the story of these 2 wrestling brothers who get involved with one of the members of the DuPont family. And not to spoil it, but crazy things end up happening.
Oh, boy.
But Channing Tatum...
That's a hard watch.
Yeah, but it's so grim and so chilling, but it's so well done. Channing Tatum, Steve Carell, and Mark Ruffalo are just incredible together and by themselves. Like, Mark Ruffalo, he's good at changing himself for roles, but how... I don't know if it was his workout or the designer, but...
Hulk!
Yeah, he really disappears into that character, and...
I think he is gifted.
Yeah. But I hadn't seen it in years, but it's still as great as it was then. And I also rewatched Aliens, which is on HBO.
Which one's that? Oh!
The second one.
Oh, it's a movie.
Yes.
It's those. It's the Sigourney Weaver.
Yes. What did you think it was?
Lots of things.
Okay.
It's fine.
But now
There's a TV show. I guess it's not called Aliens, if that's called Aliens, but it's a British TV show. It's good.
Huh. Oh, no, it's not the Simon Pegg thing.
No, neither's this.
Okay. But I love the Alien series.
Paul?
Yeah. That's what I meant.
I think that was my first R-rated movie in theaters.
Oh, really?
Paul.
It's a classic.
Yeah. I saw it at Timberline.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But I really like the Alien franchise, and this one is no exception. It's just very entertaining. Like, right when I turn it on, I just kind of have to finish it. And the humor between the Marines is very over the top, but it's in that world, it feels perfectly authentic. And so I hadn't seen that in a long time, and it was nice to see it still holds up. And that might be about it, Chloe, for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Henry.
After that, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, haven't really watched so much. My dad and I are still watching Silicon Valley, but I've seen that. But we're at the point where I haven't seen them, so I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
Last season so far is definitely not my favorite, but
that's what I heard.
Typical of. Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's just the characters are less lovable than before, and it's so sad because the actors are very lovable and like they're really gifted comedians. So
yeah,
this is a segue into, I've been watching, it like just went on Netflix, I believe, recently, but Middleditch and Schwartz. So it's Thomas Middleditch from Silicon Valley, and also my favorite low budget movie of all time, Splinterheads, which no one's heard of. It's tied with Risk Cutters, a love story.
Okay.
But anyway, I love Splinterhead, so I like Thomas Middleditch before you. So anyway, did you know he tried out for SNL and they said no because he looked too much like Seth Meyers? That's true.
That's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, brutal. But anyway, so he is really funny, really talented improviser with Ben Schwartz, who, as you can imagine, is also a very talented improviser. Hilarious. So they're a really good pair, and basically it's like a 3-part comedy special like Netflix has been doing. And as I've said, I'm not much of a comedy special person, even though it seems like it'd be my deal. But this one is so good because it's like a little play. So the whole show, there are 3 of them, and they're each different, and they're totally improv. So they're based on, like, the first one is the only one I've seen so far. But they're like, anyone have anything interesting going on in their lives or whatever, exciting or whatever. And so the first one is based on a wedding, and it speaks a little bit to how every person is interesting and has a story to tell. Because they're like, oh yeah, someone in the whatever says wedding, and the real story of the wedding that's going to happen is fascinating in its own right. So the show is so good, and it's so much fun, and it's like cute, and you're kind of in on it, and they're, clearly carried by each other, and it's like really fun and pure and really smart. So that's dope. I mean, that's really cool. So I've enjoyed that. And then basically the only other thing, Henry, as you know, I've been on a journey to find some animated show that I enjoy.
Oh, yes.
And I haven't been able to find any, but the one that I was, I'm like it's like a bad habit, a personality trait where I'm like a saver. Like if something's super good, I want to save it. And then, my DVR crashes and it's all gone, which is my childhood, but I haven't super learned my lesson. But I've been better about it. Gemma will not finish shows. She will not watch the last episode of a show if she likes it.
Interesting.
So I'm a little better than that.
You've been watching Green Eggs and Ham?
No, haven't. That's the one I can't. I gotta save it. But so there's a show again on Netflix, and I think it's a Netflix original, but I'm probably wrong. But I think it is actually. But it's called Hilda, and there are a few episodes, and it's animated, and it's just my style.
Nice.
If you think you're a little bit like me, my disposition and stuff, it'll be right up your alley. It's very creative, and it's sweet, and it's real, and I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, give it a poke.
And it's an animation style I actually like, because that's another thing I found. I really don't like the Adventure Time animation style, and I don't like the Rick and Morty one, and it's just like a lot of the other shows I won't watch just because I don't like the animation style, but I really like it of this one. It's a little more over the garden wall-y.
Yeah.
But the show itself is not, so that's good.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
Cool.
That show's fun for all ages.
Yeah. Oh, also, briefly, on HBO, I tried rewatching Zack Snyder's Sucker Punch, and it was just awful. So I stopped about 20 minutes in.
That's not a surprise.
Yeah.
I really want to watch what seems to be the good version of that. It's like Emma, what's her name? Is it Emma Roberts is in it, and the girl from that other movie. Shoot! I'll find out. It looks so cool. The visuals are ridiculous.
I don't know.
And it's like similar idea, I think. I know it's a similar idea. I gotta find out about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about from the stellar definition.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess that about does
really
it.
watch the. You should watch it, Thomas. You should watch the Middleditch and Schwartz thing. You'll love it.
Yeah, I will.
Check it out, Henry.
I will. I'll give it a poke.
Let me know.
Yeah, well, I think that about does it for the show. What yet another whirlwind.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now, next week, I think, as it will be for a while, it's kind of up in the air a little bit. Yeah. There is the new Netflix animated movie, The Willoughbys, which we might try and do, but again, it's anybody's guess.
True.
We'll find something, but follow us on social media to keep updated. And thefilmbuds.com, I'm doing a little bit more work on the site, so just, check it out.
Henry works hard.
Yes.
There are 2 horror movies I want to watch, which is a plot twist, so.
Like new ones?
Kinda.
What are they on?
New to me. Haven't seen them, so. I think they're both on Hulu.
What are they called?
One's that one I told you about, and I don't know what it's called. And the other one is the one with Lupita Nyong'o, and I also don't know what it's called.
Oh, that Little Monsters?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have been wanting to watch that, yeah. But, yeah, so we got some cool options. We got some cool choices. Well, Chloe, thanks again. It's so nice to see you and talk to you.
You too, Henry. I miss you.
Yeah, and I miss you, too. Sometime I'll bring by something by your house that only I would have, so that way I have an excuse to go over there and say hi.
Yeah.
Or to wave. Wave from afar.
Wave from afar.
Yeah. But
Henry, so close.
Yes. Well, we hope everyone out there stay safe, stay home if you can. Don't inject cleaning products.
No. Try to stay inject yourself with a little bit of hope and happiness.
And there you go.
Not chemicals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless it.
Yeah. And
that whole Tide Pod thing, dang.
Oh yeah, big time.
It's back. It's back, baby.
Anyways, we hope you enjoyed the show.
Of 369,470 seconds as much as we did.
And we'll see you next time.